control doesn't always look extreme, right? It doesn't always have to be a huge blowout, right? Sometimes it's subtle. It shows up in the small ways that we really try to manage everything without realizing it, right?
People around me started noticing. Like Paul would be like, everything's fine. And I think even his sister one day was like, things are good. Are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, no, not okay.
Welcome to the Limitless Tribe, where two badass women build businesses, chase dreams, and keep it way too real. I'm Kat.
And I'm Mel. We're the founders of Powerhouse Admins and the Limitless Tribe, and we're inviting you into the messy middle, the mindset shifts, and the CEO glow-ups you never see coming.
Now let's get into it.
Today's episode is about something that so many of us struggle with: control. It's not because we're controlling, right? It's actually because somewhere along the way, we just learned that if we don't hold everything together, things are going to fall apart, right? We kind of got obsessed with this feeling of safety, and the control gives us like a false sense of that safety, right? So it's a lot about how we were shaped as women. You know, we're taught to be the planners, the caretakers, the problem solvers. We're expected to like anticipate people's needs, prevent disasters, and just make sure everybody's okay. And that is a lot of coordinating, and it is somewhat of some control. And that just starts to escalate, especially if you've had already something that did happen to you, or any kind of trauma. That sense of control makes you feel like you have some kind of order, right? So naturally we internalize the idea that the more we manage and the more we predict and fix and control, we're going to feel safer mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually, right? But the truth is that control is just like a coping mechanism. It's not really doing anything good for us. It's just like a little band-aid making us think that we're doing good. And it's what we reach for when we're feeling anxious, uncertain, overwhelmed, or afraid. But gripping tighter doesn't really create that sense of safety. It actually creates stress. I don't know if you've ever been, I feel like I remember situations. I'm a list person, like to-do lists and things. And sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I do the list because
that one does organize help a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, it's just so many things that we try to prep for.
Yeah.
And we create all these things. It's kind of funny sometimes.
I used to, so I've gotten better, but especially with hosting, when things, or like if I have to plan like an outing for everyone, or if I'm hosting like Thanksgiving, which we host a lot, I used to, if everything didn't go the way I had planned, I would start freaking out. I'd be in the worst mood. I would be it would be a disaster. I would be angry, and like you couldn't even talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I'd be so upset about how everything, and everyone's like, relax, everything's fine. And I'm like, what do you mean everything's fine? Everything is falling apart, you know?
And you feel like each person is noticing all the stuff that you know that they have no idea.
It was in my head how I had planned the whole thing. So I've gotten better at letting that go. Even this Thanksgiving, I took a little quarter of a gummy. I was like,
whatever happens, happens.
The way it should, and let's just see how this goes.
So you're going to feel great when you start to let go. It's going to help. And letting go isn't giving up, right? Sometimes people think that it's like that extreme where you're just giving up on things. You're not, right? Letting go is releasing what wasn't yours to like carry and control. And it's letting you actually control what you really should be controlling, which is yourself, how you feel, and how you adjust to the stuff that's coming to you.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I feel like it's such a release off your chest.
Yeah.
You know, because it's hard. It's hard to control every little outcome.
It is. And so for me, I remember specifically a flight that I was supposed to get on, and we got there late and we missed the flight. And it was like the end of the world. Like if I'm not going to get another flight, like if I'm not going to get home, it was so stressful that I noticed it. That memory always stuck with me, right? I just noticed that it was so extreme. And then I got into like those, I don't know what year that was, but there was like a time where it was all those movies like Fork Over Knives and like about being vegetarian and like health movies and health hacks. Like I love all those like documentaries. And there was one that they talked about Parkinson's disease. And my uncle had that. And I saw that whole disease like just take him over time, right?
Oh, wow.
And it's a really, really rough disease. And they don't know what causes it, but they mentioned, I believe it was like, I think it was like low dopamine levels was one of the things.
Okay.
And he was like a worrier, like a stressful kind of person. And, I just connected those dots for myself, not backed by science, but
And that's how you learn to kind of
I just thought
start.
like, oh my God, I have to let go
Yeah.
because the stress, like it was like like it gives me so much anxiety.
Oh, yes.
And it wasn't that the thing was big, it was that it was different from what I planned.
Yeah,
It could be
yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, me too. Like, it could be the smallest little hiccup,
Yeah.
but in my body, it felt like
Yeah.
it was the end
Travesty,
of the world.
yeah. So I felt like if I don't fix this, then I am setting myself up to be more at risk for that. And that really, it scared me into like just slowly letting go.
That's really good, though.
And
I mean, it's not obviously you're correlating it with Parkinson's, but it's good that you were able to correlate it with something to allow you to
that's
let
like your
that release
trigger.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, for everybody, it's going to be something
Yeah.
different. Maybe you saw your parents be that way and you don't want to do the same thing, or you've started to notice how it feels in your body. So just have that moment where you realize that it's a necessity, and then start that release.
I think that's how I noticed it, because everyone, like, people around me started noticing. Like, Paul would be like, everything's fine. And I think even his sister one day was like, things are good. Are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. And then I was like, after that, like, I had talked to Paul about it, and we were talking about how I wanted everything to be a specific way, and like it didn't go. And he's like, but everything turned out right. And then I was like, well, people are noticing that I'm getting this way. Like, I don't think that's good. Maybe I should. And that's when I said, you know what? Let me try to release this, because if everyone else is noticing how stressed I am, then I feel like it downs the mood anyway. So that's gonna ruin Thanksgiving. So
yours was noticed for you.
Yes. Yes. So control is really a learned survival strategy. So it comes from your past, like instability, heartbreak, trauma, right? You want to control all of those situations. It gives illusion of predictability. So when you feel like you can control a situation, you feel like you can predict the future, right? Oh, if I control this and it goes I want it to go this certain way, and this is going to be the outcome, and I'm going to be so happy because everything went perfectly, and life is going to be grand.
Yeah.
Right? But in reality, you don't know how it's going to turn out. You're just trying to hold on to this.
Well, it's like the known, like it's not even that it's not even that like the thing that how it's going to turn out is amazing. It's that so that makes you feel good. But there could be something even better.
Exactly. But now you didn't get there because you're just trying to hold on to this one thing that you think is perfect. So it also prevents disappointment, right? Because if you feel like you're controlling this, and now, okay, this is how the outcome, and I've got this going, and this is good, you are preventing yourself from being unhappy with a situation when you really don't know if that situation that could happen would make you even happier. And it creates a temporary feeling of safety and security. I just touched the mic, so I don't know how that's going to sound. So I feel like control really is just our nervous system trying to protect us from being hurt again.
Yeah.
You want to try to predict the outcome so that nothing bad happens, so that it's exactly the way you planned it, and so that everything goes perfectly, and there's no hiccups, and there's no unexpected. But the unexpected might be better than what you really anticipated. So you can really think back and say, where did I learn that everything depends on me? Where did I learn that, I need to control all of these situations? Where did this come from in my life? And try to think back to where, or pinpoint a time in your life that, this started. I think for me, it was like growing up, and I've spoken about it before, like I had to be everything for everyone. Make my brother lunch, and and care about what his feelings are, and my parents' feelings, and don't speak, make sure you agree with everyone so that everyone is okay, like controlling all of those things, because God forbid you said something differently, you don't know what that outcome's going to turn into, if you're going to fight, if they're going to argue, if they're going to go against you. So I feel like I've always tried to protect how things go, so that it doesn't turn into like a disaster, because when I was younger, I was told like this is how it should be, and you need to care about what everyone else is doing and everyone else's feelings.
And before, I think too, like, which is something I really love about like younger people, I feel like before things had one way of being.
Yeah.
Like the husband should be away, the wife should be away, the house should look away, like everything should be just one specific way. Even like we both got married recently, like I feel like before weddings were very traditional and everybody almost had the same type of wedding, right?
Yeah, they were very cookie cutter.
Yes, all the same things,
Yes.
like, but now like there's so many, like people get married like Halloween style, like people get married with stormtroopers and like
get people handing out beer like in
yeah,
the middle, down the aisle, like
so
cute stuff,
yeah,
you know?
so
It's
now
like such different things.
there isn't only one way. It's
Yeah.
just whatever way you want it to be. But back then I feel like it was a lot stricter. I feel like when I was younger, I mean, I think I always had the people pleaser thing, but the control thing I think came with motherhood.
You do?
Yeah, because when I was younger, I felt more free.
See, I didn't.
I mean, I was an only child.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. So, and I didn't have both parents, but I also didn't have the stress of something, stressful, right?
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. I felt like I had fun. I had my little job. I had friends. I went out. It felt not so stressful. But then as soon as I became a mom, it felt like, I don't know, like I just had this giant, which I did,
Obviously, yeah.
I had this like huge responsibility, and now I need to get my whole entire life in order, like immediately.
Now.
And it just was a lot of stress. So I tried to control a lot of things from there. It felt very stressful from there on.
That makes sense though.
Yeah. So control doesn't always look extreme, right? It doesn't always have to be a huge blowout, right? Sometimes it's subtle. It shows up in the small ways that we really try to manage everything without realizing it, right? So sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's socially, little things like, when people show up, what times, like that kind of stuff. Work life is a big one, right? Family life, and even with money. So it just creeps into so many areas, and it could be little things like, I can't even think of anything right now, but even with relationships, like you might feel like it needs to go a specific way and haven't really sat down to think if that's the best way, but you've already decided that this is the way, and you kind of like keep controlling and going that way. And it's a terrible path, but you know it and it's in control, so you feel like it's good, even though it's not the best path for you.
Yeah.
So it might look like that overthinking, making plans go perfectly, that missed flight, hosting actually was a big one for me. I don't host like as big as Mel, but before we got this house, which was in January, I barely hosted, but I started a little bit in the last house because it was a fear of mine. Because
anxiety.
Yeah, it gives me anxiety, not just the cooking and the food, but like the entertaining and like what will they do and the house and like
what's everyone gonna do?
What if they're bored?
Like, no one's gonna talk. No one's gonna. But that would be like in my head. Like, what are they gonna talk about? Do we have to have games? What games? Like.
Yeah. That. So because it was so stressful to me, but I don't know. At the same time, I was very called. Like I wanted to host. Like I kind of enjoy it until the moment that I'm freaking out again. But. So I made it a point to try to do it more often because it was something I wanted to do and because it scared me. I wanted to like face that fear. So I've let go of a lot of control there too, and just kind of, hope for the best and hope people have a good time. But it's really just about like not stressing when things don't go the way you pictured, right? So on the surface, it's kind of like perfectionism. We carry it like a badge and we think that we're being responsible and we're organized and we are fully in control of our lives. But underneath, it's really like you're a super anxious, on edge person that is, making situations more uncomfortable than they need to be because you're trying to like just fit them into this.
With the planning thing, like I am the planner in the family, right? So like we go on a vacation. If the family goes, I plan the vacation and I plan what we're gonna do and I plan where we're gonna eat and I plan what we're gonna see. And like
that really stresses me out.
So when something like would not align, the restaurant that I picked is now closed and they're not open and where are we gonna go? I would have like a mental breakdown and everyone would be like, but we're going here, and then that restaurant wasn't good. And then now I'm like even worse because now the new restaurant sucked and I feel like people are complaining and then I take it very personally. But I would feel like planning it, I felt like everyone was like, oh, she's so like organized, she's got her stuff together. Like, I felt like everyone was like proud of me. So I feel like I was then prouder of myself. And then when things would fall apart, my life would fall apart at that moment.
I
And
don't.
it was a lot of anxiety.
Do you like planning it?
No.
I don't.
I don't know. I feel like in a way I did, and then in a way I hated it. Like I hated the pressure.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's
It
a
was
lot of
so
pressure
much.
because it's like how many people? Like 10?
At least 10 at a time.
Yeah. So every decision doesn't just affect you; it affects 10 other people.
Yeah. So then it's so much pressure. So then I go away. I was like, oh, everyone wants me to do it because I like the way I do it.
Yeah, because
And
nobody wants to do it.
That's the thing.
I just want to show up.
The reality is no one else wants to do this.
Yeah. I would love to just have the vacation planned. I can just pay and then just show up. Like I don't want to. I'd rather not have to. But some people really enjoy that.
No, they do, not me.
Yeah.
And then like with now having a husband, and like he would decide to like let's go here, and then I'd be like, well, what are we gonna do? When are we going? Da da da. And I would get so stressed because he wouldn't give me like the itinerary. And now I've learned that being a travel princess is amazing.
Oh yes.
And I want nothing else. I really don't want to plan any more trips ever in my life.
It's the best.
I just want to show up on a plane, get taken somewhere, and not really know what's happening. I feel like that letting go.
Yeah. I like.
Once you do it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, some people. I mean, maybe they. I wonder if it's a control thing for them too, or they genuinely enjoy it. But I don't like to plan like. I don't like to plan an itinerary to the T because that feels like work and stressful to me, and I don't want that on vacation. I want it to feel looser, but I also want to make sure I hit certain things. So I like to like this day we are for sure going to do this one thing that's like a ticketed thing, like a trip or like a tour or something. And then the rest of the day is free. So we can walk around, we can check out this little part of town. Yeah. Like there's free time and then there's like planned time. So there's like a little bit of both. So the part that we don't notice is that we don't notice how often we're doing it, I think is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then we don't notice the reason, right? We think it's for good reasons usually if you haven't noticed this about yourself. And we don't really notice that it's really like that coping mechanism, right? So we're just thinking we're managing or being on top of everything, but really we're just like afraid of the outcome that is different from the one that we planned. And we're actually so far out of control that we need everything to go a specific way. It's like the opposite of what we think we are, right? Yeah. So, and that's why letting go is so powerful, not because it fixes everything, but because it really frees you from carrying all this extra control. And it actually opens you up to a lot more possibilities because like, let's say you plan this specific thing on the day and then you leave the rest of the day open. Now you discover a new area, you find this new thing you would have never noticed. Like it's just, you just open yourself up to a lot more blessings when you don't try to control it into just one outcome. And that's really where the peace starts. Like once you start to let go and not be so tied to the outcome and, go with the flow, go with the punches, like they say, you're going to start to feel so much more peace than the feeling of control that you think is bringing you peace.
That is very true. I feel like it's such an alignment, right, with your like inner self when you can actually let go of things. When you're not controlling everything to the T, when you're not putting so much pressure on stuff, you're really choosing peace and you're not feeling that anxiety, that panic in your chest. Because I feel like the more you control, right, like we're saying, the more you can control the situation and it's not going well, you're anxious, you have anxiety, you're freaking out, like it's inner turmoil that's going on inside of you. And you really need to trust that you can handle whatever comes. So when you kind of let go and just let the universe do what it's going to do because, it's the universe and this is just life, you have more chances to let life happen. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to care or that you don't give a crap about like whatever you're doing. Say you have to plan something. It doesn't mean that you don't care how it goes or that you don't care what happens. It just means that you can finally disconnect from like what the outcome is actually going to be and let the universe kind of play around with it and give you what you need.
Yeah. So look at like the Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I think it would be more like your outcome, instead of being we need to eat at 7 and then be done by 7:45, and then 8:30 we do this, and then 10 sides need to come out at the same time. Instead of that, it becomes, I really want to have a good time and can't wait to enjoy the food. Like that becomes your thing. So you still can plan to try to be at a certain times and things like that. But if it doesn't happen, you're still going to have fun. Like you still get to hit your goal, but the goal becomes more open, because maybe you plan for like this specific way, and then that Thanksgiving becomes like a blast because you didn't structure it,
No, it's so true. Like you have, because you're calm.
Yeah.
So I feel like you give yourself the chance to have more fun. When you're so uptight, like I know for myself, when I've had those like hosting events, that I've been so stressed and I've been so anxious and upset that things aren't going perfectly the way that I've planned. I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed. Like I'm aggravated, I'm annoyed. It's just, and then I feel like that energy, obviously other people can start feeling, and it's going to bring down the event.
Yeah.
But when I've let go, like recently, everyone's kind of just enjoying themselves and having a good time, and things are just chill, and like it just makes everything so much better, and then I feel better.
You know what I'm wondering, if how when you're entertaining, you feel the energy of the space, right? Of the group. But I wonder if it's not really the energy of the group, if it's just your energy.
Could be.
Because when you feel like anxious, you feel like people are anxious, or like they're not.
Yes.
They're, like you think they're stressed.
Yeah.
Like I think they're like.
Oh, having a bad.
Yes.
Okay, this is making sense. So yes, I'm like putting it together. So yeah, when I'm like thinking that things are going really bad, I feel like I look around and everyone's like having a bad time, but it might just be my energy is like,
maybe it's just what we're feeling, and we're we're projecting that. So like I really believe that what we see is based on how we feel, and so maybe when we feel calmer, we can loosen up and we can see things differently for what they really are. I don't know.
That makes sense. I mean, that
makes you feel a little bit better.
So, we do a lot of manifestation, and Cathy and I are really like involved in this. And in manifestation, they say the moment you release the outcome is the moment you become magnetic. And that's when things start coming to you instead of you forcing them, right? Because when you force something, like a relationship or anything in life, it usually goes the opposite way.
Yeah.
So the moment you let go, the moment more comes to you. And you gain control energetically when you surrender your physically. So I really do feel that. I feel like just in everything that we've done in the past couple of years, like love, business, like even in corporate to entrepreneur, right? And like having a business. When I've let go and surrendered to, okay, this is life and I'm just going to let it go, good things have come to me.
Yeah.
Like more money, more opportunity, more love. When I've held on so tightly, trying to control the situation, it never goes the way I want it to anyway.
Yeah, and
or if it does, it's not as great.
Yeah, exactly. Even when it does, it's not this good. So one thing I've heard that I really love is when it talks about the control piece, they say it's kind of like saying that you can plan a better life for yourself than the universe or God could, which is insane, right? Because we don't have the resources, right? Or the, the power that they do to do all this magic. And when I was growing up in the corporate world, I had that inner critic that we've talked about, and I was very strict with myself, and I had all these things, and it did bring a lot of good. But when I let go, and then my fear was actually that if I let go, that I would be lazy, that I would just not accomplish anything, and I would just be like an underachiever, and I just not go for any goals at all. So it actually became the opposite. The more that I let go, the more the blessings come to me. Like
it's true.
It's like you become like magnetic, and it's not that I'm still doing the work, so I still put in the work, but like even in our business, I don't put as many goals as I used to in corporate. We put a loose goal here or there, but really like we just try to get better every day. Like we try to get ourselves better, then get our teams better, improve our processes. Like we just try to make our clients love us a little more each day. And then everything else just comes from that. Like I don't have to control getting more clients. I don't have to control anything else because generally our clients refer other clients to us. So it's just been such a good blessing, you know? And then with relationships and like Mel said with clients too, like I don't know if you've noticed, like the more you like someone and the more on them you get, the more obsessed you might be with them, or you're the one checking in, the more disconnected they are.
Yeah.
And I always struggled with that because I always used to say, like, I can't pretend to not care about the person.
Exactly.
So it was really hard to balance. But I think eventually the switch for me was, it's not that I don't show them, it's that I changed from thinking that they were the prize for me being the prize. And I got busy with doing my own things. So I wasn't like, it's not that I didn't care about them, but they weren't like my number one priority. And then I more became theirs.
Yeah, and I think that's like the most important factor. What you just said is like becoming busy with your own life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're so like not obsessed, but just like so over on somebody, like over the top on somebody, like trying to love them, trying to like
Yeah.
control like how they feel about you and like control the situation, you're not living your life.
And look at kids.
Yeah.
If you tell them and try to force them to do something,
even worse.
they're going to do the total opposite.
You never know what's going to happen.
So just, you know, you want to guide them and be there for them in whatever point there is, and let them know that they can come to you and you're not going to judge them. And that will usually lead to them finding that path you hoped for them anyways, or a better one, instead of you trying to force them into that path.
Because it's not going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
So if you're letting go, right, what does that actually look like, right? So that's accepting people as they are, not trying to make somebody be something that they aren't. So if it comes to dating, if you want them to be, you expect something, right, from someone you're dating, and that's normal. Like you want something from a relationship and they're not giving it to you, that might not be the person, right?
Exactly.
There are people you can talk to and they're willing to grow and improve along with you during that relationship. But in general, people aren't changing too much. So if they're not fitting into what you're looking for, it's not about changing them. It's just about moving so that you can find what you're looking for, right? So same thing goes for everything. Accept people as they are, not chasing or convincing anybody. In love and friendships and relationships,
Not worth it.
I'm not selling you on me. Like I already feel like I do as good as I can. It's pretty good. So if you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you try to chase people, or you try to convince them of certain things, or you try to like play yourself up so that they'll love you more or whatever. It's not
gonna
worth it.
Yeah, and it's not gonna work anyways.
Not.
And even in sales, like when I was in corporate, I feel like I was a lot more aggressive because we had to be like closing the deal and that kind of thing. But here, you know, like usually when we have a client, we'll have like a presentation, we'll go over everything we do, and like we'll find out what you're looking for and hear about your business and how we can help. I'll follow up if you're interested and you just need a little bit of time, I'll follow up. But if you tell me you need more time or you're not ready or you're good, leave you alone.
We want to be the right fit.
Yeah, we want you to want us.
Yeah.
Not anybody that's unsure, which is the same for love, please, girls. Like, if they're unsure, it's not it. So,
Speaking from experience.
yes.
Not it.
Releasing timelines. This has been a big one for me, like, because I was always like a very specific goal person. So now I still think about the goal, but I might not have a specific time frame in mind. And I let it happen when it happens. And sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it's way less time. Sometimes it takes longer, but it comes even better, right? So just letting go of those timelines, disconnecting from the outcomes. Like I said, you do the best that you can in every role that you're in, and whatever happens, happens. Trusting your own strength, right? If you're putting in the work and you know that you're a good person, a good wife, a good, business owner, trust that you know what you're doing and trust your strength. Allow things to happen allow them to unfold. See what happens. Be open to new possibilities you didn't think about. And setting boundaries, right? So letting go is saying, I trust myself. I trust the timing and I trust the path. And just go with the flow.
That's so important, because I feel like if I was going by what I was trying to control back then, right? All of the things that I was like, this has to go this way, this has to go, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
And my life would be completely different. And I don't think I would be as happy as I am right now. So I feel like the fact that I was able to finally let go of who I thought was supposed to be my love of my life, and where I thought I was supposed to be in business, right, or in a career, I wouldn't be in the situation where I am today and as happy and like in such a good place. So it's a testament, I feel, to say that like letting go can be an amazing thing.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we're limiting ourselves
We
into
are.
what we're hoping for, but if you let go, you open up to everything that's available for you. Actually, one of the manifestation things I really like is they say, like, when you're manifesting something, let's say like a specific house, or sometimes people try to manifest a specific person, like someone they know that they like are in love, or an ex. And they always say, like, not to manifest a specific thing. So like, if you want this house, why do you love this house? So then you want something like this house or better.
Yeah.
Right? Because yeah, this house is probably the best you could have imagined, but there's maybe something even better out there that you didn't even imagine.
Exactly.
And I've been thinking about one thing that people say, like a lot of business owners say, and I think it just hit me like now. Sometimes people say, a lot of times people say in business, like, I never imagined that it would get like this. Big people, right? Like the girl that did Spanx, and people that have created these major companies, right? When they created them, they just thought it was like this small thing. Like they never imagined it would get to that level. And that's how I feel like about business, like I started it just as a trial to see, like I never imagined it. And
You were hoping. But,
yeah, well,
right.
I don't even think
No.
my hope got to this size. And I know we're not
That's
like
amazing.
as big as,
No,
these
but-
people, but like I never imagined that big.
That's amazing.
I thought it would be like 5 or 6 people, like just
Yeah.
not a lot. So that letting go is gonna surprise you.
So the power of surrender, and this is what we've been talking about. So we're not going to go too much into manifestation, but I feel like it is a little bit of this topic. So one of the biggest things that manifestation really teaches you is that trying to force something is actually the quickest way to block it. So when you try to force a love, when you try to force a path, a career, a project, anything, it's the quickest way to make sure that that does not happen.
Yeah.
When you're holding on so tightly and overthinking and obsessing and checking and trying to control the outcome, you shift into fear, and fear creates resistance. And resistance pushes your desires away, and it's like saying, I don't trust that this is coming to me. And it's like a micromanaging thing where you're micromanaging every detail. I don't know if you've ever like text someone and then you're staring at your phone and you're like trying to like call them to text, like you're like in your mind looking at your phone, like trying to get them to text you back. Like it's not happening.
No.
It's
And I
like,
feel
no.
like the minute you let it go and you're like, forget it, I don't even want to hear from this
Your
person.
phone goes off.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I feel like this hasn't been
yes,
happening to
yeah,
us, it
yeah.
happens to everyone,
Yes.
right? So it's like, it's just more proof, like the more you try to control these situations, the more that they're not going to happen. So you just need to let them go. You have to stop worrying so much about it because it's just creating anxiety, fear, and resistance in your life.
Yeah. So there's a book actually we want to recommend. It's called The Surrender Experiment. I love that book. It's actually the second part. We haven't read the first part, but he goes into like, I think he was like studying to be a lawyer.
Yes.
And I don't know, I think he had a divorce. I'd like to reread it. It's been a little bit now. I think he had a divorce and like it made him rethink actually.
I was going to say, did he get divorced or did he just break it? Maybe he did.
No, I think it was divorce,
Yeah.
but also, so a lot of people have like an inner critic, right? Or an inner voice. He did not, which I think most people either do or they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that remembers when it started, right? Because for me, like it just as long as I can remember.
I always had mine.
For him, it like started. So, and then at first he thought it was super cool because you're having like this commentary and like all these things. But then it became like, this thing never shuts up. Like it's always on. And he got to try to control it so much. and he got really into yoga and meditation, but it would not quiet his brain. So he went to extremes. Like he would meditate for like 6 hours and do yoga for like 3 and like only eat raw foods and still nothing, right? So he went the other extreme of surrendering and literally going with the flow of things. Sometimes things came to him that he didn't really think it was the right thing, but it wasn't a bad thing, right? It just wasn't necessarily what he thought he wanted, but it kept coming. So he's like, I guess this is what I should do. And he would go with the flow and it would lead to something insane.
Yeah, like a job opportunity he didn't want. He didn't care for it, didn't want it.
Yeah.
But it came to him and they offered it to him and he said, you know what? I don't want this, but okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it. And then that led to something greater.
Right. It's not like he was going to be stuck there. It just, it was like a connecting piece that led him to more opportunities and more opportunities. And it was just an insane story. And it's really good. I highly recommend it.
I feel like that's where we went to, like, saying yes to more things in our life.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We had this whole time period, which I would like to do again.
Yeah.
Where, like, if things, obviously it's not, if something comes to you, like if someone asks you to do something and you really don't want to do it, or it's like something bad, then don't say yes.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you're kind of on the fence and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that, or like an experience or something, just say yes and see where it goes.
Yeah, it's not like, because we have both problems, right? Not saying no enough and not saying yes enough.
Yeah.
So the yes is to the things that, it's not that you don't want to do them, is that they scare you.
Yeah.
So like,
that's a good way of explaining it.
Yeah, like I know that a public speaking event would be good for us and it would be good for me, but it's terrifying. So maybe in the past I would have said no to avoid that fear. Now I say yes, and I'm like, I will be scared that day, and then
whatever happens.
Yeah. So it's those things, right? Like we took like an aerial yoga class. Like I don't know, you know, I'm not flexible, and it's an aerial silks class, sorry. Yeah, and I'm not strong physically, but why not? The worst that could happen is that it's fun. So yes.
A lot.
Yes. So those are like the yeses you want, the stuff that pushes you forward, that maybe is outside your comfort zone, that you're only saying no because you're scared, not those no's where like, I really don't want to do this and I just feel obligated. That should stay a no. So people think with the control piece, right? They think that it means like letting go means losing control and you're going to be unsafe, or like me, that I thought I was just going to have no goals. But it's actually the opposite.
It's gonna be a bum.
Yeah, I was just going to just give up on life.
All the work that you've done your whole life.
Yeah.
It's just going to go down the drain.
I really thought that was going to happen.
Homeless.
It was a thought. It really was, because I only knew that way, and like I didn't know how I would be differently, you know? So the moment that you stop trying to control everything outside of you, you really start to gain like extra control over what's really happening inside of you. And that's like the most powerful thing, because we think we're being powerful, or we're doing good by controlling the outside environment, but controlling what's within, that's like the true power. So if you can gain control over your energy, your reactions, your boundaries, that's going to bring like the biggest shift for you. And it's going to bring you that peace that we talked about, like real peace, not the fake peace.
I feel like, you know how I said that when I was controlling things, like controlling like an event or something, I thought people were like proud of me, like, oh, you know? And then I feel like now that I'm more, because I wasn't relaxed, I was very anxious, I was very, you know, not pleasant, I would say. It wasn't very pleasant to be around. And now that like I shifted and I don't try to control so many situations and I kind of let go, I feel like that's where people, like, they see now that inside I'm like more relaxed. Mm-hmm. They can feel it and they can say like, oh, she's so much nicer.
Yeah. Well, maybe before they saw how you were and they were like, I'm glad I'm not planning, because look at how she is.
Exactly.
And now they're like, oh, now it looks good.
So it's that energy shift really does happen within.
Yes. Yeah, when you're holding on super tightly, you can't actually see, when you're not holding tightly, you can see the situation for what it actually is, instead of looking at through a lens of fear. And you can actually see also options. Yes. Because like when, for example, that restaurant situation, when you feel so much stress about pleasing these people and that control please, it limits like what options you look at for restaurants. But when you're open and you have fun with it, maybe everybody's looking, maybe we see who picks the best place or who finds, like you just have fun with it. It opens up to a lot more possibilities that can happen. So the control is really only wanting one outcome and you can't see other outcomes. So it actually puts you in a really bad shape, because if this one scenario doesn't work out, you can't even think of other options or other solutions or anything else, because all you can think about is this one way that didn't work. But it turns out that that closed door, there's really like 2 or 3 doors that are options that are even better. So if you weren't so set on it being this one specific outcome, you'd be able to see all the options and then pick the one that's best for you. So letting go is really like how you get your power back and how you actually gain real control over things and over yourself, is by letting go. And letting go gives you back the control that actually matters, your inner world.
Yeah, letting go sounds beautiful. But doing it is really hard, especially if you're so used to having that control. If you spent a lot of time, years, decades holding on to the control, you really don't know where to start and how to let go, because, it's not of the norm for you. So I would say, making sure that you're aware is like the number one thing, because when you don't have awareness that you're doing this, how do you stop, right? You just keep going. So being aware of where you're trying to control certain situations or certain outcomes is number one. And then accepting that this is happening, stop trying to fight it, and then releasing. So, maybe you journal, maybe you cry it out, maybe, choosing to let go and breathe, or do any of the things that can maybe help you release the situation. Go for a walk, anything that you can do to kind of help you release that, do that. And then setting up boundaries, which is like the biggest thing. Protecting your peace, limiting chaos. I feel like setting up boundaries is really hard, but it is very, very necessary. I know for me, like, everyone expected me to do these things. They expected me to make plans. They expected me to be the person to call and make the reservations and plan the event and, do all the things. And I didn't have any boundaries. So I just did them. And then I would stress myself out and I would freak out when things wouldn't go right. So those boundaries are necessary in life. And trusting yourself and the timing and the path that you're on. Not everything needs to go the exact way, because if it doesn't, it's usually better. It usually ends up even better. Or it usually gets you out of something that was going to be bad. I feel like, sometimes you put yourself in these positions and you're trying to control something and you're thinking, oh, it needs to go this way. And then when it doesn't, maybe you avoided something that was going to be really bad in your life.
Yeah. And the trust one, I think, is really big here with starting the process, because remember, we have this safety, like this false sense of safety with control. So it's going to be hard for you to try to let go of control because you're scared of what the outcome will be. So the trust really comes in to know that, especially like start with little things, you're not going to start with the huge stuff, but start with the little things like hosting, like a dinner, a vacation, and know that you are strong enough and equipped enough where no matter what happens, you're going to be fine, right? You will find other options, and that will be part of the process. So really trusting that you will be able to handle it, so that you can start like practicing it and actually like let go of the little thing, have the win, see that it worked out fine, and then you'll start to do it more and more in your life.
Yeah. And then surrender. So unclench those fists. Allow support. Like, let people help you. Stop trying to force the outcome. Let people in. If you are doing an event, ask for advice. See what other people want to do, how they think that it should go. Get ideas instead of trying to do everything on your own and making it go that perfect way that you think is in your head. I know we talked about like this being something like surfing, or like going against, when you're trying to go against the wave or go against the current.
Yeah.
You're usually, it's pushing you back. So you're trying to go one way, the current's pushing you the other way. You're too much resistance. Nothing is happening. But when you go with the wave and you just let things go and go with the current, it flows and everything kind of aligns. And that's where you need to trust the flow. So when you release the resistance, you trust the flow. And, there's an affirmation that says, I release resistance, I trust the flow, and what is meant for me cannot miss me. So I feel like that's really strong,
I love that.
right?
Yeah.
That is so strong. Like releasing it and trusting that flow and going with the current instead of against it, you're going to catch all of the things and align and flow into all the things that are meant for you instead of resisting against them.
Yeah. And I was thinking as you were saying that, like, as you're doing this, and like I said, you start with the little things and it leads up to the big stuff in life, right? And the more that you do that, you're also going to gain confidence that you can handle anything. Like, I feel kind of like that, right? I feel like bad things happen sometimes, I'll handle them. Like, I will be okay. I will come out on the other side. And there's a really amazing like strength in that, and knowing that you can overcome whatever comes your way, and that just puts you in a better place for life.
Yeah, that's really strong. When I was thinking about like my life and right now, I don't know, I just got like flashes of like things that have happened in my life, like even with my daughter and Victoria, and like certain things, like events that transpired later on in life where I expected her life to go one way, and I expected her to get her associate's degree in this certain amount of time and kind of do all the things that we had talked about and planned, because these are the things that we had discussed. And then when things started going a different way and I couldn't control the outcome, like it was hard, like I felt broken, and I was like, oh my God, like I wanted it to go, and I was trying so hard to like make it go this way and get her back on this path, and let's do it, and let's get back, and when I let it go, and I was just like, you know what, life is lifing.
Yeah.
this is just gonna happen, and I have to kind of just let it go and see where this goes. And now everything is like back. It's all aligned the way I feel like it needed to.
But I feel like in the beginning you were trying to force like your outcome, and maybe that's why it was more resistant for her.
Yeah.
And when you were like, listen, this is your life, you do it however you need to do it.
Yeah.
Then she got on her stuff. Like now she's doing it for herself.
She's doing it for her, and she's excelling, and things are great, and she's happy.
Yeah.
And it's not forced, and I'm happy. So I feel like, in so many areas in my life, there's that control. Like I've tried to control so many different outcomes, love, like, children, being a mom, work. And when I've let go, like everything has just changed. And that doesn't mean everything's been perfect.
Yeah, or not that we've let go of everything, because it's a process,
it's a process. There's still things that I'm not great at letting go of. But it also doesn't mean that everything that I've just let go into the universe has been like, oh, amazing and sunshine and butterflies. There's been hiccups and roadblocks and issues.
But you overcome them.
But you overcome them and you become stronger, and things get better, and you become a stronger person. And
the mother one, or parenting, but I can only speak for mothers because I'm not, I didn't have the dad there, so I'm not sure, but for myself or my daughter. But I feel like it's tough because you make this baby, right? And then you want the best for them, and you feel like responsible that their life turns out well. Yeah. But it's not your life.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. You have this plan, like we talked about. You have this plan.
Yeah.
But it's your plan.
Yeah, and
it's not theirs.
And the best thing that can turn out for them is not actually the outcome, but it's that they do their plan.
Exactly. And that they're happy.
So that's like a big place to start to let go of, especially if you have like older kids. When they're little, you're guiding them, right? But when they're older, they start making their own decisions and have their consequences and have their wins, and you'll be there for them, but let go so that they can have their moment, right? Trust that you've already put in the time to guide them and to build them into the human that they are, and that they'll make the best decisions for themselves. And if they don't work out great, they'll overcome them, and you'll be there to help. But don't try to force your things onto your kids or like someone else. Yeah. So to close out, this is a big one, right? And all of our stories, I think, are works in process. But definitely, like, when you're thinking of these things, Think that you don't have to carry everything. You don't have to do everything or control everything. You gain control by letting go, right? By trusting yourself, by trusting the timing, and trusting that what's meant for you, it's not going to require force or like you to force it, And I think this episode, you really have to like think about it and think about the moments that you've done this in your life. Think about the scenarios we've said that I know you've had.
The areas where you feel really anxious. Like, I feel like when you're holding on to a lot of anxiety about something because you're trying to control something, like, think about that. Like,
Yeah.
where are you feeling that anxiety and why?
But not just like where you're feeling it, but think about the logic of the episode. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like sometimes things make sense to me in a way where it clicks. So I hope that you hear everything and you really think about the different times where this has already happened in your life, good and bad, because they both happen. Even if you're in control, like you'll see the bad side of things. Like just think about all these moments and you're going to see that it makes sense and that you're able to start this process of letting go and trusting yourself, and you're going to be okay. So start to let go so your blessings can finally reach you.
If this episode resonated with you, make sure you subscribe, like, share with someone who you think might need to hear this message. Our next episode will be on forgiveness and letting go for your peace, not theirs. Until next time, your life, your rules, stay limitless.